welcome back to my channel. With the holidays coming up, I realized recently that I do not in fact own an apron, which is really unfortunate because I've been an adult for 6 years now and have gotten gunk on my clothes for 6 years now. So this year I decided to rectify that before Thanksgiving happens. I was looking through my scraps bin and happened to find about a half yard left over from when I recovered my ironing board. It's this really lovely burnt orange color, so I thought it'd be perfect for this season. So I decided to kind of go the vintage route just because that's who I am, but I didn't want to buy a pattern because I'm trying to keep in the vein of no buy November, so I'm just going to kind of wing it from a visual. For this purpose, we're going to be using McCall's 2061, which is a super basic. It's just a rectangle, and some long rectangles for straps. I think we can get that out of the scraps that we've got. Hopefully you can follow along. To start the process, I picked up the piece and wrapped it around my waist to get a feel for where I wanted it to sit. It ended up being about 30 inches wide. Thankfully, I didn't have to do much to the length because it turned out to already fit me pretty well. The next step was measuring the bib. I cut a lining out of some heavier weight muslin I had laying around, and the trim I cut on the straight grain from the linen that I used to make the 1940s sports dress. I decided to start with the straps because I'm kind of afraid of how the rest of this apron is going to go, so I figured this would be the easiest thing. Because I'm binding all of the edges on the bib with the straight grain tape, I don't need to flip it inside out and sew right sides together. So I just put them wrong sides together and sewed all the way around. Let's move on to the apron. Off camera, I sewed up the two short sides of the apron, right sides together, and left the two long sides open. I made the lining about an inch shorter in the width. That way, when it's sewed and flipped, the lining seam is inset, which creates a much cleaner edge. And here's where I made my first mistake. When I pieced together the waistband strips, I ended up with a seam smack in the middle of it, which, while not structurally terrible, is kind of hideous. To fix it, I chopped one piece in half and attached the piece I chopped off to the other side. There's two seams now, but they're hidden towards the back, so it's not as bad. I attached the waistband using the stitch in the ditch method. Essentially, you sew a straight line directly on top of the seam, which should get hidden by some of the fabric overhang. The key to this is going very, very slowly. Next came the trim to finish the apron off. Because the linen was so sheer, I had to fold it over itself to double up, leaving about a ½ inch to fold over twice on the other side. Okay, so it's been a couple days and we've made some really good progress, so I just thought we'd check in really fast and I'll let you know where we're at right now. So we've finished the straps pretty much. They're good to go. They just need attaching. Apron is almost done. Honestly, most of the distinct pieces are mostly done. The trim has been attached. The only thing that's left to do is whip stitch down the trim in the inside of the garment just to keep it in place. I have approximately 6,000 miles of that to do. I'm probably gonna go put on Pride and Prejudice or something fun and just mindlessly sew for a while.
I don't understand. I love you. Most ardently.
And because I can't do things halfway, I ended up overlocking the top inch and a half of the pockets, just to prevent any fraying or wear and tear from when things get slid into them. I messed up my measurements at the beginning quite a bit, so I ended up having to attach the bib much further in than I meant to, but I think it turned out okay. I found the easiest way to get the pockets even was to iron over a 1/4 inch allowance and then hand baste that down before sewing it with the machine to the apron. Otherwise the edges moved too much and didn't look even. I left the straps long so that I could adjust them later if I needed to. but then I accidentally attached them twisted, so you can't win everything. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I have never been more excited about something I have made in my whole life. And I know it's kind of, you're not supposed to brag about stuff like this, but I'm unironically in love with this apron. And I can't believe that I made it. So that's pretty awesome. Every sewing project has something that you've messed up on. And the only thing I really did wrong was I attached the straps twisted. So when I laid it out flat on the table to attach the straps, I attached them straight, flat, but I forgot that aprons are supposed to wrap around you, and so that twists a little bit. But other than that, I mean, the sewing gods just smiled on me. The sun was out, the linen cooperated. It turned out great, and I can't wait to wear this for Thanksgiving. I know we're not really supposed to be getting together this year, but you know what? This is gonna make me feel a little bit better about that. Thank you so much for watching, and if you decide to make something like this, I hope that you enjoy the process as much as I did. As always, my name is Grace, and I hope you decide to subscribe and stick around for future videos. I'll see you next time, guys.